This is Professor Schmidt. Wanted to briefly share some interesting news this week with you. The Food and Drug Administration has just released information about a genetically modified salmon that is being considered by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for approval. It's a biotech company called Aqua Bounty. They started the process of soliciting permits and doing some research in 1995, and now we are in 2010, and now the FDA is getting ready to talk about whether or not genetically modified food, such as this new salmon, should be permitted. It is a salmon that has a gene from a different type of salmon, and it allows the fish to grow twice as fast as regular salmon. They would be in contained tanks on land rather than out in pens on the ocean. And if this were approved, it would be the first genetically engineered animal on the food market of the United States. Talking about the search for economic activities such as different forms of fishing. We already know about salmon that is raised in pens. We know about shrimp farms that operate on the coasts of countries around the world, especially in Asia. And these are all very important to the economies, job creation, and so on of countries, not just the United States, but especially other countries, in terms of where we fit into this delicate balance between economic activity, economic development, jobs, taxes, and so on, and issues that also are of great significance to coastal managers, which are, of course, coastal environmental issues. So the FDA had public hearings in Rockville, Maryland. This was last week. This is September of 2010 where I'm speaking. And the hearings were about how to label the salmon, so the public can send in comments, and through November, and there is a discussion about how to basically label the salmon. Some concern about basically labeling it as, at the extreme, genetically modified organism, GMO salmon. In Europe, they call these kinds of things frankenfoods, from Frankenstein, the artificial sort of monster that was created in the literature, or whether it should be called something else. This is, by the way, a much more important and huge discussion, because if we move in the direction of saying, yes, human beings are allowed to, can, and maybe even should manipulate the genetic code, in this case of animals, can we use it, for example, to help modify wild fish populations that are strained by overfishing or disease and that are in fact moving towards extinction? We know, for example, that the bluefish tuna is heavily hunted, and that there may be, in fact, a possibility that it will go into extinction, which is a very surprising thing. Can we develop a way for bluefish tuna to reproduce and grow to substantial sizes 10 times faster than they do now, so that with human participation, we can essentially help species along where human beings are undermining the the sustainability of these. And that is something that I think is sobering. It's a sobering thought for us. If we could save endangered species through genetically modifying them, that would be very important. See you on the web.